Welcome to episode 42 of 100 Songs. It's raining like crazy here in Northern California, and it's supposedly going to rain for like all week. Good time to talk about some great music. So today is episode 42. Like I said, we're coming up on the halfway mark of my 100 Songs review. Today we're talking about the song Child in Time by the legendary Deep Purple off of their Deep Purple in Rock album. Came out in 1970. And what's crazy is this is not their first album, so they go back into the 60s. And they have been active in many forms up until recently, or not too long ago. 2021 was I believe the last thing that has come out. Band has changed a lot. It's not at all the same band, but in fact, I can't think of too many bands that have been around this long, but also that have had so many lineup changes. But there is a classic lineup I think people think of in the era that really made them famous. So Deep Purple is regarded as one of the bands that have helped shape and form metal, along with Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. There's some others too. There's probably several. But it's a relatively small list, and Deep Purple is right there on that list. They're formed in England in 1968. Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, Rod Evans on vocal, Nick Sampler on bass, John Lord on keys, and Ian Pace on the drums. They originally named themselves Roundabout, and they were a session band, which I did not know. After their third LP was a self-titled album, they reformed kind of into what I would call their classic lineup that included Ian Gillan and Roger Clover on bass, Ian Gillan on vocals, of course. Then by 1974, Gillan left. And then enter David Coverdale on vocals. And then shortly after that, I think they did an album or two, maybe even just one album. Shortly after that, Blackmore left to form the Mighty Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio, which is pretty great if you like Dio and you like Blackmore. It's like a great combo. It's a great band. Anyway, so already after this pretty short amount of time as a band, massive changes to the lineup, and that just sort of continues. Bolan replaced Blackmore on guitar, and the band disbanded in 1976. Bolan dies of a drug overdose. Coverdale goes off and forms Whitesnake, and then that classic lineup reunited in 1984 and did some work together, and then the band just continued to go on. Some breaks here and there, but big catalog, and like I said, going almost 5 decades, which is crazy. My pick for a song that I really like from Deep Purple. Now, I've heard of Deep Purple going pretty far back. Everybody I knew as a teenager that played guitar, I knew a few people that played guitar. Everybody learned Smoke on the Water. It's a classic riff. Dun 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 dun. Dun. I think that sounded dumb, but that's the riff if you don't know, and everybody learned that. And there's a bunch of songs people just I think relate to and know of as Deep Purple. Richie Blackmore really had a hard rock kind of driven guitar style. Solos are fantastic, and continued to experiment really with the style into Rainbow. So anyway, my song of choice is "Child in Time" off of Deep Purple and Rock from 1970, like I said. And this is a song I wasn't super familiar with for some reason. I kind of had their for a long time. I had one of their greatest hits albums, and I don't think this was on it, or if it was, I missed it. So, not a big listener or a big fan, I would say. I just knew some of their music. And then I saw Child in Time. There's this amazing live version. It's an incredible live version of the song played in front of it. It looks like a studio audience. I'm not remembering the history of it. It's not a big concert live performance. It's like a live performance on a show, and it's amazing to watch. And it's of this song, and I will link to it up here somewhere. I'll put it in the link to the video. It's a great way to see the song performed. It's a great sounding performance. So if you're already a fan and you have not seen this somehow, gotta check it out. If you don't know anything about Deep Purple or you don't really know this song, it's a good way, I would say, to introduce you to it. It's really good. Highly recommended. So we're going to excuse me. Child in Time, actually I was going to play a little bit of it, but Child in Time was a song about world affairs, perhaps war, probably war, Vietnam War. In the song, the blind man is the USA, and it's kind of a song about making your bed and then having to lie in it. This is just some of the interpretation that I've heard. Who knows, right? If you don't hear it directly from the person who wrote it, it's anybody's guess, really. But seems like a pretty good. There's a pretty good chance that's what it's about. Okay, let's listen to a little bit of Child in Time. Kind of like the last video I did with Creedence. I usually only ever do like one. I think almost always I've done like one section of the song just to get a flavor for it. With Creedence last episode, I played two parts because it really you have to hear the vocals, and then you got to hear the guitar in two separate parts. So this is kind of the same deal. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing. Play the opening verse with Ian Gillan on vocals, which is incredible. And then we'll get about midway into the song and listen to just a little bit of Richie Blackmore's guitar solo, the beginning of the solo. It's kind of long, also incredible. And we'll check that out too. The song is long. It's 10 minutes plus. And it kind of goes in a full circle. Anyway, let's check it out.
Sweet child in time, you'll see the line that's drawn between good and bad. See the blind man shooting at the world, bullets flying, taking toll. you have, and you've not been hit by a flying lead. You'd better close your eyes. Oh, bow your head. Wait for a ricochet.
So the Keys by John Lord defined the band a lot early too. Incredible keyboard player. Got to be one of the top of all time in rock. Has to be. I haven't really sat down and thought about that, but from what I understand of John Lord, and what I've heard, incredible. He unfortunately died from pancreatic cancer 20 years ago or something. I'm not actually sure of the date, but I know he's passed too, unfortunately. And the part that the song was just going into picks up his vocals. He goes higher and higher in his vocals, and it's kind of shocking actually that how high his voice gets, and how powerful his voice is. I didn't play that part. It goes on kind of for a while, but that section sort of bookends the instrumental piece in the middle, and that's really what I want to get to next here. If I can figure this out, I gotta drop it right in the right spot. Pretty close. Wow. Well, I was only going to play maybe the first 30 seconds of that or minute of that guitar solo, and that's just, I had a hard time stopping it. That's wrong to stop that, I guess. I just wanted to hear the whole thing. There's a lot going on in that. He's really, for lack of a better term, he's really shredding there, and the keys in the background and the drum and bass are even kind of they're working together, obviously, in the as a rhythm section, but everybody's just doing their thing, and that's great. That's what's fun about the live version too. Is you get a sense of the energy of the live performance, even though the audience is just sort of sitting there, like politely watching, like, wow, this is really something. Probably like not sure what they're seeing, frankly. Like I would say probably everybody in the room watching that had never seen anything like that before, I would be willing to say. Okay, so what are we going to talk about next time? And for that, we go to the wheel. Let's go to the wheel. All right, Arcade Fire, ready to start off of the Grammy Award winning album, The Suburbs. So we're fast forwarding in time about 40 years to ready to start. So we'll talk about that next time. Thank you. See you later.